I'm ready to go.
Okay. Name is Victor Sentias. The last name spelled Senties. Spokesman with HPD. A little after midnight, our officers were receiving multiple calls from motorists in the area of the Southwest Freeway, Chimney Rock, Hillcroft, of a male in a gray Toyota Tundra pickup truck who was driving the wrong way. He was going the northbound and the southbound lanes of the Southwest Freeway, and he was intentionally striking vehicles. He was going out of his way to hit vehicles as he was traveling the wrong way on the Southwest Freeway. Officers managed to finally spot the vehicle, and they initiated a vehicle pursuit, which lasted approximately 30 minutes. Wound around the Southwest Freeway down here to the Beltway 8 area. Also during the pursuit, the suspect intentionally attempted to strike several HPD patrol vehicles in the process, completely disregarding the motoring public, putting other people who were out on the roads at that time at risk. The pursuit ended up here in the 9900 block of Beech Nut near Beltway 8, where the decision was made that given the danger that this person was posing to the rest of the public and to officers that were pursuing him, the decision was made to box him into the parking lot here behind us in the 9900 block of Beech Nut. Officers at that point positioned their patrol vehicles in strategic spots near the parking lot to keep him from exiting. As officers exited their patrol vehicles and they went to approach the suspect's pickup truck, he accelerated and intentionally rammed a couple of patrol vehicles that were blocking one of the exits of the parking lot. Officers repeatedly gave verbal commands for the suspect to exit the vehicle, which he did not do, and instead he put the vehicle in reverse and continued to strike the patrol vehicles that were in front and behind him repeatedly. He was given verbal commands again, which he ignored, and at that point, obviously fearing for their lives and that of their fellow officers, we had two HPD officers that actually discharged their weapons at the vehicle and at the suspect. At that point, the suspect manages to push through both the patrol vehicles that were blocking the exit of that parking lot, and he ends up going over the median, and as you can see right behind me here, the vehicle came to a stop after striking a sign. Officers immediately ran over to the vehicle. They took the suspect into custody, and after realizing that he had been wounded in the gunfire, they immediately provided first aid with some tourniquet kits that our officers are provided. Contacted 911. Medical personnel arrived on scene. They transported the suspect to Memorial Hermann Southwest, where he was pronounced dead. Obviously, at this point now, it is an ongoing investigation with our homicide and internal affairs divisions, as well as the Harris County District Attorney's Office. As is customary in these types of incidents, the officers that discharge their weapons will go on 3-day administrative duty, which is not a punishment. It's simply an opportunity for the officer to kind of decompress after a traumatic situation of discharging their firearm and fatally striking a suspect. During that time, they're required to get with psychological services to get some counseling and kind of get themselves back to normal and decompress. And then after those 3 days, they would return back to their regular patrol duties. And again, the scene is still being processed at this time.
What weapons on the officers? They're revolvers or shotguns, or what was used?
Well, at this point, I can just tell you it was their duty weapons that they discharged. Obviously, all of the specifics and the nature of the weapons, that's all part of the internal affairs and the homicide investigation.
Any idea on the age of the suspect or anything like that? White, black, Hispanic?
The initial information I have, Scott, is that it's a white male who is 63 years old. The officers tell us that when they gave him the verbal commands and they were trying to get him out of the vehicle, he had a very strange look in his eye, as if he was in some sort of a trance, not entirely there, just completely ignoring commands, and had sort of a wild look in his eyes, is what we were being told.
Do we know anything about the suspect? Any open warrants, anything like that?
At this point, I don't have any information on him other than he's a 63-year-old white male.
Okay.
Do you have any indication at this point about how many cars that were hit by the suspect?
The initial information that we are getting is that it was anywhere from 30 to 40 vehicles total that were struck. Our officers were receiving multiple phone calls from motorists out there who stated that this individual was on the highway going out of his way to strike a lot of these vehicles. He was doing it intentionally. He had every intent to injure or possibly even kill somebody out on the highway tonight.
Of those wrecks, any injuries out of those?
At this point, I don't have any specifics on major injuries to anybody. Obviously, when you're talking about a large number of vehicle accidents that are involved like that, we're expecting multiple reports to be coming in throughout the coming days of accidents that were involved in this particular incident.
Now, what about people that were involved in this, that recognize this truck? Who can they call, or what do they need
Well,
to
obviously, if anybody believes that they were victims that were struck by this vehicle that was involved in this pursuit, obviously we want them to contact our Vehicular Crimes Division. That number is 713-247-4072, and just let them know that you were one of the persons that were involved in this incident and that your vehicle was struck, and they can probably take a report for you and get the process going.
do? Okay.
Anything else? Okay, first officer is going to be, give me just a second, fellas, I'm sorry. I want to make sure you give it. Oh, going to be first initial C as in Charlie, last name Meade, M-E-A-D-E. And the second one is going to be first initial L as in Lincoln, and I'm going to spell the last name for you. It's a little difficult. It's F-U-H-L-L-B-R-I-G-G-E, and I believe it's pronounced Fulbrig. So it's Officer C. Meade and Officer L. Fulbrig. They're both assigned to the Midwest Patrol Division. Looks like Officer Meade had, you know what, let me get their resume.